Life teaches us again and again that strength without wisdom is dangerous, and that intelligence, patience, and courage can defeat even the fiercest of enemies. Today, I will tell you a story that will stay with you forever. A story of a mighty lion who ruled a forest with terror, and a small, fragile rabbit who brought him to his knees. Once you listen to this tale, you will never look at power and wisdom the same way again. Long ago, in a vast forest filled with rivers, hills, and thick green trees, there lived a lion whose roar shook the ground. His mane glistened in the sunlight like fire, his claws could tear apart the strongest deer, and his golden eyes could freeze any creature in fear. He was the king, yes, but not the kind of king a forest prays for. His kingdom was built not on justice, but on cruelty. Every day, the lion hunted, not for hunger, but for sport. He killed more than he needed, tearing through herds, leaving behind broken bodies and broken hearts. The birds sang less, their music replaced by silence. The monkeys clung to branches, whispering warnings to one another. The deer no longer danced in the meadows, and even the mighty elephants moved in hushed steps, afraid of crossing the lion's path. The forest that once echoed with joy was now drenched in fear. One evening, as the sun sank into the horizon and painted the sky with crimson light, the animals gathered under the giant banyan tree. It was a desperate meeting, the kind that only happens when life itself is at stake. The deer spoke first, trembling. "If this continues, none of us will survive. The lion spares no one." The monkeys shrieked, their voices filled with panic. The elephants nodded gravely. Even the wise owls perched on the branches remained silent, for what wisdom could stop a beast so powerful? Finally, after long hours of sorrowful discussion, a painful decision was made. They would approach the lion and beg for mercy. The next morning, trembling and terrified, a group of animals stood before the beast in his den. His roar greeted them like thunder. "What do you want?" he growled. Their voices shook as they spoke. "O mighty king, we are your humble subjects. We beg you to stop hunting us at will. To save you the trouble of chasing, we will send you one animal every single day. You will never have to search again, and in return, we will live with less fear." The lion's pride was tickled. He liked the idea of animals bringing themselves to him. It made him feel even more powerful. He smirked, his sharp teeth glinting. "Very well," he declared. "Bring me one creature every day. But remember this, if you ever fail me, if even one day I am left hungry, I will kill you all." And so the arrangement began. Each day, one animal was chosen to sacrifice itself. Families wept as fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers were led away. The forest breathed a little easier, but grief lingered everywhere like a shadow. The lion grew lazier with every passing day, lounging in his den, roaring only to remind the forest who ruled. Then, one morning, fate chose a rabbit. He was small, fragile, and helpless compared to the great beasts who had gone before him. His family cried bitterly, his friends mourned, but the rabbit himself remained calm. In his small, bright eyes burned a light that no one noticed, a spark of intelligence. As he hopped toward the lion's den, he thought deeply. If this continues, one by one, we will all perish. But perhaps this is my chance. Perhaps I can end this terror for once and for all. The lion may have strength, but strength without wisdom is like fire without control. It destroys itself. The rabbit walked slowly, very slowly. The sun rose higher, hours passed, and still he moved at his own pace. By the time he reached the lion's den, the great beast was pacing back and forth, hunger twisting his belly, fury blazing in his eyes. His roar shook the ground. "You dare keep me waiting, little worm? Do you not fear me?" The rabbit bowed low, his voice shaking yet steady. "Forgive me, O king, I was delayed not by choice, but because I was stopped on my way by another lion. He claimed he is the true king of this forest. He mocked you, saying you are weak and unworthy. He tried to take me for himself." The lion froze. Another lion, claiming to be king, mocking him? The thought was unbearable. His pride, sharper than any claw, cut deep into his heart. His anger rose like a storm. "Where is he?" he roared. "Show me this impostor, and I will tear him apart." The rabbit nodded. "Come with me, my king. He hides not far from here." Through winding paths and thick woods, the rabbit led the lion to an old stone well, deep and wide, filled with still water. He pointed with his tiny paw. "There, my king, he hides inside. He said he waits for you." The lion charged forward, peered into the well, and there he saw him. Another lion, staring back with blazing eyes, baring his teeth, refusing to bow. The reflection in the water mimicked every one of his moves. The lion roared, and the reflection roared back just as defiant. Blinded by rage, the lion did not pause to think. He leapt into the well, claws outstretched, ready to destroy his enemy. But all that greeted him was the cold, merciless water. With a thunderous splash, he fell deeper and deeper. His roars turned to splashes, then to silence. The mighty king who had ruled with terror was gone, drowned by his own pride. The rabbit stood at the edge, his small body trembling. His heart pounded, but slowly relief washed over him. He hopped back through the forest, faster this time, until he reached the waiting animals. When they saw him alive, their eyes widened in disbelief. "Where is the lion?" they cried. The rabbit lifted his head and spoke with quiet strength. "The lion is no more. His pride and anger destroyed him. We are free." At first, silence spread like a wave. Then, as realization sank in, joy exploded through the forest. Birds burst into song, deer leapt across meadows, monkeys swung from tree to tree laughing with delight, elephants trumpeted, shaking the ground with celebration. For the first time in many years, the forest was alive with freedom. They lifted the rabbit onto their shoulders. Cheers echoed through the trees. The animals honored not his strength, but his wisdom, not his power, but his intelligence. He was small, yes, but he had defeated the greatest terror they had ever known. From that day, the rabbit was remembered as a hero. The forest thrived once again. The air was filled with music, laughter, and life. But most importantly, every creature carried the lesson in their hearts that arrogance blinds even the strongest, that pride leads to downfall, and that true strength lies not in muscle, but in the clarity of mind. And so, dear listener, remember this whenever life places a lion before you. You may feel small, you may feel powerless, but never forget, the clever mind, the calm heart, and the patient soul can defeat obstacles that seem impossible. Just as the rabbit faced the lion, you too can face your fears, your challenges, your enemies, and win, not with force, but with wisdom. If this story touched your heart, do not let it end here. Share it with someone who needs courage today. And if you want more timeless tales filled with life-changing lessons, subscribe to Life Lessons Library, because one story at the right time can change an entire life.